the best, and people can go out from there. And because I think if it was the other way, the centre would die. And this way, it becomes the focus, it becomes the hub, and then people move from there. And you'll see that people will start developing in that area to match the MRT. That's what you're going to see, that sort of enthusiasm, you know. And what we really need, but we're caught really between land on one side, there's a car park, and the others. And so we're just unfortunate we cannot build the station we want with the platform widths on the plant without going underneath the properties. And therefore I can't have a property and then rip the sort of front two meters off and leave the rest of the property up there. I've got to take it down. And so what we've done, we're looking to with these people is that in the residents there is that we'll take the properties, we take it down, and then we rebuild it for you and put it back again. That's what they want. That's what we're doing, and we're discussing that and how we want to do it. Every station has certain things. You have to have an entrance. You know, we're governed by certain rules about if you're on. You imagine a train fully laden comes into a station. There's another platform, so two trains come in fully laden with the full, and then there is the same amount of people standing on the platform. Suddenly there's a fire or an evacuation. All those people have got to evacuate, and the rules we set ourselves, they've got to evacuate at a certain time and be clear of that station within a certain time. So that governs the amount of entrances we have, the amount of emergency staircases we have, and we have to provide those. I can't say, just queue up for 2 hours while everybody evacuates. We have to have everybody out of there at a certain period of time. They're the rules, the international rules, not rules I'm making up. These are international rules. This is what Bomba will impose upon me. Aircon, the tunnels. I've got to keep the air in the tunnels cool. I've got to keep it clean. You know, if there's a fire, now I'll talk a bit about fire, but if there's a fire, I've got to get that smoke out because there's people on the train. I've got to get fresh air in, so I need vent shafts. I've got to keep the aircon and the ventilation within the stations, and it's a separate type of thing. So structures coming out of the ground, what I'm trying to get to is it's not just I'm putting a station under the ground. There's structures that have got to come to the surface and come up, and there's entrances, vents. I've got to put them somewhere. I can't put them in the middle of the road. They've got to go on the sides. Normally they go at the ends of the on the ends of the stations. So we have a lot of discussion and arguments of I don't want the vent there, but it's got to go somewhere. You know, I don't want the entrance there, but it's got to go somewhere. If it's not there, it's there. These people don't want it. So we look for the best. What's the best location for the people, for the way the station. There's no point in me having a station like this and two entrances here. I want an entrance over here. Or if there's no development over here, I put it over here. So, you know, we're caught. You know, no, you go and put it in front of his house. Go and put it in front of his shop. I can't do that. I've got to, you know, the thing's got to be designed properly. You want to use it. You're going to say, well, these guys are stupid. Why they put two entrances together here? So, you know, certain things like that. And at Bukit Bintang, that's the arguments we're having there. We've got to go underneath some of the property. I cannot fit the station into the road. I can fit the tunnel in the road, but I can't fit the station in the road. I've got to take a bit of the property. We've tried to squeeze everything up to minimise the amount. And I know you'll say, yeah, but we really work very, very hard. I've got not only myself, but the PDP as well, and the teams really working hard to minimise the amount of land take that we're always looking at it, trying to not to take too much. We don't want it. We're not there. We're trying to put a railway down which is to serve the people and make it the best in a sense. I think it will be the best. I think it's when we open, we're going to open in 2 phases. I think, and I hope people will realise that we've really done a good job, and that's my responsibility to make sure that we've done a good job. And you know, I always work on the areas and delivering railways and never use it because I move on to the next one. But you know, I know in the places I've worked on Jubilee Line in London. You know, my sister and my brother, you know, use them and always say, "Hey, Mark, it's brilliant. You know, it's absolutely fantastic." But you know, I'm overseas. I never get the benefits of them. Singapore, you know, I know a lot of Singaporeans, and they, I mean, Singapore. You tell a Singaporean, I'm going to build an MRT down in front of his road. Yes, I mean they are that happy because they see the benefits of it. Really, it's cheap, it's fast, it works all the time. It doesn't get affected by the weather. It doesn't get affected by, you know, traffic jams and things like that. It's there all the time.
Because they trust their government.
I don't know. I think what I've seen and the commitment that's been given to me, and you know, the way we're working. You know, honestly, this is happening. This is happening, and you know, I think there's a strong support from the government that this is what is required for KL. You know, one lane is not going to solve KL's traffic problems. Really, one lane isn't. But one lane will start people saying, "I want one of these." I always say to people, you know, when you're sitting on the traffic jam of Grand Saga or Sprint or whatever, and you see the train go past, and then you don't move, and you see the next train go past 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes later, and then you see the next train go past. I think after the third train, you'll say, tomorrow I'm going to be on that train now. I ain't going to be sitting here. And the more of that happens, then the more then the government will say, okay, you want another? I'll do another line. All right, we're down for 3, but you know, maybe it'll be 5. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. You know, when Singapore started, two lines in Singapore picked up 60% back in the 80s. 60% of the population where they lived or where they worked. 2 lines. Now, how many lines have they got? You know, they got those 2 lines plus Northeast Lane plus Circle Lane plus Downtown Lane. You know, I mean, you know, because it's not just picking 60. Now it's getting mobility around the place. So Singaporeans don't have to have a car. At the moment, everybody's got to have a car or a second car. Some people got third cars. You know.
Because KL has many LRT lines, but people are still not, you know, they're still skeptical. You know, we have monorail lines.
No,
LRT lines.
I know.
Many lines.
I know, and I think that unfortunately one of the things is it's like one of the things of you put in one lane and it's a single lane, a single operator. You get that. And whether you get that care. I think now that with Rapid KL taking over, there is clearly, you can see an attitude of even the way they're talking about the extensions and working on the extensions and interconnectivity and things like that. There is a push to improve that service. I mean, I see, yeah, they've got some problems there where 2 lanes and you have to go down and then out again. But I think those will be eventually, they can't do everything overnight, but I think you'll see over the period of time, efforts will be made to do that. You know, London Underground has been how many years building MRT, you know, LRT on MRT. They still do connecting corridors, you know, changing the things because things change. You know, the Northern Lane was okay, but now it ain't any good anymore. You know, and they've got to have to do something. You go to Tottenham Court Road, a part of Crossrail, enormous amount of work going on there, just to improve the interconnectivity between not Crossrail but the existing lanes, you know, and this is a railway that's been working for the last 100 years, you know. So give the guys a bit of a chance, but they work. They honestly, you know, honestly, I don't, but they are really work. They're trying it, but give them a chance. You know, it will come. One of our briefs is to make sure that where we can, our connection is there. We don't want people to go downstairs. We want it to be seamless. I want people to be, yes, they have to move from one railway. You can't have the 2 railways, but they should be able to come off, walk, and then suddenly go down, and then either maybe down on another escalator onto the next line, but not upstairs, round corners, downstairs, across the pavement, you know. Yeah, you know, I mean, buy another ticket. That's what we don't want. We are working hard to do that. Even at KL Central, even though our station is a bit of a distance away, it will be a paid link. So once you've paid and come in, you can go all the way over. And when you come off KTM, you can come straight in and you're on our line.
You mentioned there was an issue with the foundations going too deep as a barrier to putting the station directly.
Sorry?
KL Central. You said you were
I mean, you
in Central, but
look at the development. You know, I mean, I know there's tracks underneath. All of those buildings are sitting on foundations. It's not about them being too deep, but you know, you suddenly there is not a window for you to put your tunnels through, or your station to build your station. And what we have to do, what we call is underpinning. We have to then, in a sense, cut their foundations away and support them independently on something different. That is an awful lot of expense, and it's not necessary. So it can be done, it has been done, it will be done in small areas, but as a big thing to put a station down, it just, you know, it doesn't justify the cost, really, you know. I mean, I've done it. I mean, you know, we can do it, but it's difficult.
But yeah, like in Barcelona, I think they go like 60 meters underground to just avoid.
Yeah, but you see, yeah, but you can, but then you wouldn't want to put a station 60 meters, because if you go 60 meters, you've got to come out, you know. In Korea, I believe there's a station in Korea that is so deep, the Koreans don't use it. It's dead. They'd rather walk along the surface and go down a shallower one, you know. It's not like London, you know, and there's some very deep stations in London. Paddington, I remember, I replaced the escalators at Paddington, one of the deepest stations there. I think when you know, I mean, you know, you need binoculars to see the other end, you know, it was that deep. But I mean, but they're, you know, they're, because London's got that and then that, and we got another line, and the only way you can get through is that, you know. But that's not, we don't need to do that yet, you know. I think that we are looking already of where we've got stations, whether in the depth or in the height in some of them. Can we take it down a bit, because every meter is less stairs for you, you know, or less escalator, and you know, less escalator, less cost, you know, less of you puffing. Why do they make it so high? We want to make it comfortable for you guys. I mean, you know. I know you think we don't, but really we honestly, our job is to do what we're trying to build. We don't build the railway for us. We build the railway for people. That's what it's about. We build the railway for people, and you know, we try and do it safely. We're not, as I said, risk takers. We're, you know, I'm a civil engineer. I do not want accidents. I want everybody who comes to work on anything I'm associated with to go home at the end of the day with everything he came to work with all his fingers, his eyesight, his life, his arm, his limbs, everything, you know. I've been on jobs people have died. It's not fun, you know. You're sick, you know, and you think, what can I have done to make sure this guy, I should have spoken to somebody about, you know, improvements. So we're not risk takers. We not take risks. We're very, very concerned about safety. I'd rather see the work stopped and a delay to me and done properly and safely than allowing people just to get on with it. And I know my CEO is like that. Marcus, we stop, we do it properly, we do it safely. That's brilliant attitude. We'll catch up the time. And I personally believe if you do it right the first time, and I mean, you know, I mean, it's not, I'm too old to take all this, you know, these sort of things, but if you do things right the first time, guess what? You do it in the shortest period of time, I tell you. You know? You do it in the shortest period. If the rebar is a mess, you have to go and check it and you know, get the drawings out. But if it's neat and tidy and you can see it's all nicely laid out and you go ahead. It's done properly. Your concrete, easy to look after.
Marcus, in Jalan Sultan, right, the buildings are very old.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't say they're very old. They're old.
They're old. If they need to be demolished, then what happens?
That's why I say I think all of the properties need to be looked at. You know, what I've seen on the outside, because people are living in them and they're trading. I don't see there's any reason to demolish them, because I tell you what, if they were so bad that they should be demolished, then people shouldn't be trading out of them, should they? So I think that, but that doesn't necessarily mean they don't need some support and some propping, just as a precaution on our part. We've got a responsibility. I've got insurance. That doesn't necessarily mean, you know, if I don't take precautions and do the right thing, and I have to end up using my insurance, then my next premium for my next line is even going to be higher. So I'm looking to reduce my premium for the next line, and I can do that by doing